All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Medicare live stream with BJ Insurance Group. Today we have the usual suspects, Greg and Joe, with us. And we are about a week away from Medicare enrollment when it officially begins on October 15th. So just a reminder, if you would like to ask a question for the guys, you can use the comment box on YouTube. It's right next to the video, or on Facebook. It's down to the right underneath the video. If you have a question, we'll answer it live right here for you. With that being said, what's up, guys?
Ryan, how are you?
Any Medicare news people should be aware of? Or Greg, I know you have an interesting presentation for us tonight, but if anyone wanted to kick it off.
Yeah, well, I got some fun stuff to go over. I don't know if you guys want to touch on anything first before I get into presenting a little bit. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you.
So there's Carol checking in. What's up, Carol?
I'll say this. I've been doing a lot of drug plans the last 2 days, nonstop, and have a lot of clients on insulin. And we spoke, I guess, about a month ago about Trump capping prices on insulin prices. And I noticed it's showing on the drug plan printouts that I've been saving, PDF files. So, I mean, I'm seeing the brand name insulin prices at $38. I've seen a couple of generic prices at $40. So, I mean, it seems to be capped at $38 to $40. The generics I never heard of, so they're probably brand new, but sticking with the insulin brand names. So that's really good news. Something that we talked about a month ago and something that's actually coming to life now. So I've had a lot of happy customers while I've been going over their drug plans the last 2 days. Anyone taking insulin, it's a nice surprise for them.
That's good news.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm thinking today, open enrollment still, 10 days away, or just about 10 days away. I want to go over a little bit about some of the service we do. A lot of folks that come on here are already existing clients. Some have already gone through this process, but Ryan, I'm thinking I'm going to share my screen if we can do that. And I'll show a little bit about how we figure this out for you. So for those who haven't done this yet, this is a little peek into how we come up with these numbers, like Joe just mentioned, looking up drug plans. What does that mean? I mean, we have some in-house tools we use. I'm going to show you the basic, Medicare tool that a lot of folks can use, but we do this for you. This is why we're here. We don't get paid extra to do it. We get paid by the companies just as well as if, as anything else. So let me do a quick screen share. So Ryan, I'm going to share, and you can probably put it up there once I do this. Click that. Share, and let me know when we're up.
There we go.
Okay, so the form you're seeing, some of the folks on this have already seen this form. Some of you have seen it with me. Some have seen it for Joe. I encourage everyone to get online and do this. I've sent emails out to everyone that this form is available with the web address. It's a simple form, Medicare prescription drug form. When you fill this out, it is going to drop all of this information in an email to me. It gives me a head start on looking up your drugs. So whether you are an existing client, a prospective client, somebody that just is looking for information, here's what you need to do. Very simple. Let's just put some basic info in here. So we'll have Jane Doe. We'll put in my own email address so that I know it comes to me. And then a phone number. And then you're going to add drugs. And adding drugs means just clicking add drug. You'll get a pop-up here. Things might be a little slow because we're streaming this and everything else. Click where it says, please select from the list, and it's going to give you the opportunity to type in your drug. And like I said, things are a little slow because of the streaming and everything that's going on, but you'll get the idea. And I'll just do one so you kind of see what we're talking about. And if it doesn't work, we'll blame Ryan because he created this for us. Like I said, I'm on a slow computer right now with a slow connection, and we're streaming, so this can be tough. But essentially, so you understand, here it's starting to come up now. You're just going to put in your drug name. As you start typing, I wish it would come up because then you'd be able to see that it's going to fill it for you. So if you're picking something like lisinopril, if you put in LIS, it's going to populate it right away. You pick your dosage, and you'll put in the number of times a day you're using it. So simple enough. Once you hit enter, it's going to come back to me, and now we're frozen. How about that? Yes. Oh wait, there you go. Are things coming up? No. Okay. Well, let's not take all night on this. So
I think, I think it's because you're sharing your screen and it's just
like I said,
computer's starting to melt.
Really slowing things down here. So let me try to get out of this if I could. And yes, I'm sure. So it comes back here. Your drugs would populate here. There could be some drugs that aren't on that list yet because it's not always perfectly up to date. It's up to date as of about a month ago, but we have to keep updating it. So if you have to just add, something else in this box, we'd love to see you put your preferred pharmacy. You'll see in a minute why that's very important. And then do you prefer mail order? Because if you're a mail order type person, we want to make sure we know that the company we're looking for has a good mail order plan that's going to save you some money. Once you hit submit, it's going to come back to me. It's going to come back to Joe. Every agent at BGA has one of these pages set up, and it will go directly back to them. So your information is only going to one person. It's the person you're choosing. What we do is, now we have some internal systems, but what we do is we can bring that over to Medicare.gov. We're looking at 2021 plans right now. I took the liberty of putting in 4 pretty simple drugs that a lot of folks take. And I'm going to show you in a minute why it's important to get this looked up. So what we're looking at first is just prescription drug plans. So if you're someone who has a Medicare supplement and you're adding prescription drug coverage, I put 4 drugs in, and I put 3 generics and 1 name brand. So the 3 generics I put in are simple ones: lisinopril, which is for blood pressure, atorvastatin for cholesterol, and metoprolol. So they're 3 that are really, really standard. Then I put in Xarelto, which is a name brand drug and a very expensive drug at that. So when we look at this, we sort plans and they go by lowest drug cost and with the lowest premium. And people say, well, wait, but there's a deductible and there's the premium and there's the copays. So we make it really easy. You pick the pharmacy, you pick the drugs you take, and it drops in here. Okay, the monthly premium for the first plan that came up for those drugs I picked is Horizon Medicare Blue RX, and the premium is $23.50. That doesn't mean a lot to me. What means a lot to me is right here: yearly drug and premium costs. This is your actual out-of-pocket for the year next year. So if those 4 drugs I mentioned you take is all you take next year, and obviously things can change, this is if you walk into a retail pharmacy and you pay your copay plus your premium and any deductible, which this plan happens to have a $150 deductible. Your total out-of-pocket for the year here is $1,268.98. So let's just look at that plan real quick and see where we get to that. But understand that's total out of pocket. So that's the premium right here, $23.50. That's the deductible, $150. And then we scroll down. Let's go. If I happen to go to CVS, so that's what I put in. Things like atorvastatin cost me nothing. Things like lisinopril cost me nothing. Metoprolol cost me nothing. And Xarelto cost me $45 after the deductible. Now the deductible is $150, so I'm never going to pay this $468. Okay. Come down here and we can look at it on a monthly basis. If we start right away in January and we fill all those drugs, we're going to pay $195. That's premium, deductible, and copays. February, we're only going to pay $45. All right. I'm sorry. That's this estimated monthly drug cost is not including your premium. Keep going down. This person, this not real person, but these very real drugs, put this person in that donut hole, and it happens in September. So September, October, November, December, they're sitting in the donut hole where their Xarelto is now costing them $117 a month instead of $45 a month. So this person happens to never get out of the donut hole, which is not uncommon. Usually most folks go in and do not come out. Now, that's managing someone's drugs. And here's where I say you need a professional look at this. And here's the reason why. That was the #1 drug plan that came up for this particular person in this particular zip code, which is Camden County, New Jersey. If you say, Greg, I'm an AARP fan, that's all I want. I just want AARP. Don't bother me with anything else. Well, these are ranked based on how much out of pocket you can have. So keep going down. Here's this Clear Spring. Here's Silver Script at $1,400. Here's another Silver Script at almost $1,500. You still haven't seen ARP yet. Now, I'm not beating up on AARP, but in this particular case, for these particular drugs, AARP is nowhere to be found. Well, let's just go to where it is and let's see what would happen if you just stuck with the name. Well, here we go. AARP finally comes up. Look at the out-of-pocket for the year, almost $1,800 versus almost $1,200 with Horizon in this case. So we don't buy a name when it comes to prescriptions. We look at a plan that's going to cover you with your maintenance drugs the best that they can. Now, your maintenance drugs may change during the year. That's fine. Most of these plans are going to cover a lot of different drug options for you. But we got to base it off of what we know now. And in this person's case, it was Horizon. This also works for Medicare Advantage. So I'm going to flip this over to Medicare Advantage plans. And you might go, I want that new awesome Humana plan that came out. Well, what if they don't cover your drugs very well? It doesn't really matter. So in this person's case, Clover PPO came up first. Okay. Well, when it comes to Medicare Advantage, there's more factors than just drug costs, because you have drug costs, but you also have to make sure your doctors accept the plan. So it's a little bit different. But, here's Aetna coming in behind Clover, and then here's WellCare coming in behind that, and here's another Aetna, and then we keep going, so on and so forth. So if you said, well, I really want Humana, well, that's great, but look how much more it is than Aetna or Clover. These are all the factors we put into place when we look up plans for you. And it's really important that you, get us that information. Again, doing it via this website that we created is the easiest way, because you're getting the right dosage. You know what you put in. You're not going to hit enter, or at least you're going to tell me, hey, Greg, I couldn't find it. So we make sure we get everything correct. And that's really, really important when we're doing this. It's going to give us a more legitimate breakdown of what you could spend. And that's all we're looking for. We want to make sure that you are in the best position possible. And like I said, I showed you the Medicare site. We do have some internal tools we use for that are a little more robust, help us out with finding these items to make sure it fits you best. So that's what we do on our side. And for people who have questions, or, we've seen, I think, Ryan, you said somebody put something up about the donut hole on the Facebook page. And that's what we try to help you contend with, because we know spending too much money isn't worthwhile. And a simple mistake like trying to stay married to a company like AARP or married to Aetna, we're not married to anybody. We have to look around. We have to see what fits best. And that's what this annual enrollment really does for us. It gives us a chance to do that.
Yeah, and that form you were looking at actually is able to look up about 6,000 different drugs that are out there. So if you're having trouble with the spelling or anything like that, the search tool will actually look it up and find it for you, and then you can add your dosage. And like Greg just showed you, with that information, which is really important, he can go out and find and use the tools on Medicare.gov to help you guys get the absolute best price. So yeah, a lot of people were commenting about the donut hole. And I know in the last stream, a lot of people were saying, how do I avoid the donut hole? What's the deal with the donut hole? I think your response last week was, there isn't really much you can do about it. But for anybody that's new or missed it last week, do you want to just really quick cover maybe the donut hole just one more time, and,
Sure.
Maybe why you can't get out of it?
So there are a couple steps in Part D coverage or prescription coverage. You have your first step is your deductible. So some plans have it, some do not. Most do these days, unfortunately. Some have deductibles just for name brands and not generics. But once you fulfill your deductible, you enter stage 2, which is the initial coverage. That's where at most you're going to spend 25% of the cost of the drug. Okay. Usually this is a copay. So for generics, it could be a $0 copay. For something like Xarelto, I just showed you, which is a really expensive name brand drug, it was like a $47 copay. In the background, the total cost of the drug, that's everything you pay and everything the company's paying, it's totaling up to hit a limit. And once it hits that initial coverage limit, you enter that coverage gap. Now, the coverage gap used to be worse. You used to pay everything for your drugs when you hit the coverage gap. It's now down to 25%. So as I showed you on that fictitious person, when they hit the coverage gap, Xarelto went from $45 copay to $118. And then they have to pay that every month for the rest of the year. Now, Xarelto retails for about $450 a month, and you were paying $45. Now, suddenly, again, you're paying the full 25%. A couple of people made comments that, yeah, drugs don't have to just be $450. They can be more expensive than that. Or if you're picking up a 3-month supply and you were paying, $150 for your Xarelto for a 3-month supply, now suddenly you go, I just got a $400 bill.
Right.
What do I do now? Now, getting out of it is when you've hit a maximum out of pocket, or I'm sorry, you'll hit a catastrophic coverage limit. And your drugs start to get very cheap after that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't usually happen. You have to be on multiple expensive drugs to actually get out of it. What we try to do is cost containment. So when we look up those plans, it's really important to understand that different drug plans have different contracts with these pharmacies and drug makers. So when you look something up like Xarelto, the retail cost via Horizon that I showed you was $450. That's what's tallying up in the background. But another company, it could be $700, which is going to get you to donut hole that much faster.
Yeah,
it can be that much different. So that's another big part of looking this up, is making sure we're keeping you out of it as long as we can. The other thing a lot of folks don't realize is drugs are on tiers. So it's very easy to say, well, something's generic now, it should be a tier 1 or 2. It's not always the case. So I looked up a drug today. It's a generic. It's been around for a little while, but for some reason, it's an expensive generic. So it's not your $0 one or $5 one. It happens to be a few $100s a month. So the the prescription companies throw it up on tier 4, which makes it $45, or they throw it up on tier 5, where it's 25%. And a lot of customers go, well, I don't understand. It's generic. Why should it be that expensive? Well, there's different contracts and there's different reasoning, but we also recommend a lot of folks to look at GoodRx. It's not something you pay for. You can download the app right to your phone. I use it a lot because, my kids get prescribed something. My insurance stinks. You'd think I'd have better insurance since I sell it, but since it stinks, sometimes my kids will have to take an antibiotic or something, and my insurance is going to cost me $15. GoodRx, I put the name of it in, whatever it is, and it gives me a radius around me of who's going to be the least expensive, and you just literally let them swipe your phone.
Wow.
We actually have GoodRx cards sitting in our office. We send out to customers sometimes, but if you have a smartphone, I could try and show you on the screen, but you can jump on GoodRx and look up your drug. In fact, do we have time? We have a few minutes. Let's do a quick. I'm gonna just pull up GoodRx and do a quick screen share with you guys, because this is an app for your phone, but it's also really easy to use on your computer as well. So let's jump on their site, and they're just growing. GoodRx is getting bigger and bigger. Remember, when you buy something through GoodRx, it is not affecting you for the donut hole, because that cost is not getting entered into your overall, because you're buying it outside of your plan. So if I'm being shared right now, this is the GoodRx homepage. Like I said, they have a mobile app you can put on your phone. And let's put in a drug like, I don't know, let's put in a torvastatin, because that's the generic Lipitor. Now, this is something on your plan, could be $0, could be $4 or $5, but if you wanted to, you could go through GoodRx. And again, we're hitting the slow down. Hopefully it works sooner. There you go. These are in a close by to me. If you walk in, you can show them the phone and they'll give this to you for $8.25. So this isn't that exciting, but it's when you get to something like, this is one I was looking up earlier today. When you get to something that is a generic and you go, but it's an expensive generic, and I'll pull this up for you. Let's see where it is here. So this is something that women sometimes have to take on a Stradiol. It helps with it's a hormone replacement. This is something that's $150 a month going towards the donut hole for you if you were to purchase this via your plan. But using GoodRx, you can get it for $50 from Walmart, or $55 from ShopRite, or $55 from Wegmans. So yes, it's a generic. Yes, it's expensive. And like I said, through a plan, it might cost $150, which is going into your, pushing you faster to the donut hole. If you buy it off the plan and just use GoodRx, you're getting it at a much better rate. So that's why I say, please check it out. Put some of your drugs in. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of, geez, I can't get back to the screen. There's a lot of prescriptions that are less expensive. It's worth taking a look sometimes to see if you can get around using your prescription plan and actually using this. I know it stinks because you're going, well, I pay for my prescription plan, I should be able to use it.
Right.
But, the idea is let's get the least expensive, way we can possible. So we take that into consideration when we're looking up drug plans for folks.
So is that just a coupon that they show, and then the person at CVS scans it? Is that all? Is that how that works?
That's correct. Honestly, a lot of the
pharmacists
now know people use it a lot. So they'll even look it up for you sometimes. Like, look, this drug on your plan is $20, but on GoodRx, it's like $8. You just have to put it on your phone and I'll scan it. And they're getting better about that. But, it's you're the buyer. You got to be on top of it. So if you think that there might be a better deal on something, don't be afraid to throw it in GoodRx and see if it works. All
right. So I just wanted to say hi to some people in the audience here. So we have Denise checking in, saying hello.
Hi, Denise.
We have Mildred Bachmeyer. We actually lost Joe. I guess his connection dropped. He suddenly popped off the stream out of nowhere. Yeah. Maybe he's practicing drums since we've been, I think he's a little broken up today. We're sorry to have the loss of Eddie Van Halen today, a rock hero of all of ours. We were going to start with a moment of silence, but I was right for this. Or a shredding guitar solo.
Yeah, I think Joe's just he's a little miserable today about it, and I understand it's his hero as well. So for anyone out there, he was a great guitar player. So we'll have to Yeah, he was just getting a Medicare age too. I was going to try and call him up.
Yeah. What I did want to really quickly do is you were showing the prescription drug form, which is just a convenient way for people to add their drugs. But I wanted to show the Calendly form if you want, just to show people what it looks like and just to give people an idea of how that works. I have it pulled up here if you want me to show it.
Go ahead. I have it, but yeah, go ahead. If you have it on, just go ahead.
Yeah, let me just. So if you guys would like Greg to review your plans or you want to ask him some questions directly, we have something called Calendly. It's an interesting name. But basically, it's a little program that when Greg sends you a specific link, you can actually schedule a 30-minute call with Greg and pick a time slot that's convenient for you right off of his calendar. So if, let's say, you wanted an appointment tomorrow, the 7th, you could click this and you can see that he only has 2 spots open for tomorrow, right? So you can say, okay, 6:30 works better for me. You'll get a text message reminder, and then Greg will be ready to go if you send him your prescription drugs. Now, we know the enrollment period starts on the 15th, so if you want to get ahead of it and schedule some time or even later in the month, you can schedule it way farther out where there might be some more time available. But if you see the link from Greg called Calendly, it's just a very convenient way for you to just at any time book an appointment right on his calendar. Joe has one as well. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible in the age of COVID. We're doing a lot of online appointments and phone calls and things. And, we're trying to make it very easy for you.
Interestingly, in talking to a lot of folks, I mean, with Calendly, it lets people drop their appointments right in and pick a great convenient time. It's funny, though, a lot of folks, even in these crazy times we're living in, a little disappointed we're not doing as many house calls this year. And for myself, I'm not doing any. I'll be honest with you. Some of my customers have said, man, are you really that concerned or that nervous about COVID? And the answer is, for me personally, no. I'm not so concerned for myself. My concern is actually for my customers. I'm 41 years old, and as far as my doctor tells me, I'm in pretty good health, knock wood. But if I'm going to 6 and 8 appointments a day in different people's homes, I'm running into different things. And you never know if I'm carrying something to the next person. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not going to live with that on my conscience that I brought COVID into someone's home. And our customers are the number one group of people who are most vulnerable to this situation. So I ask that everybody be patient with us this year. We're doing everything we can to really use technology to the best of our advantage. I mean, this is one year that we just have to do it this way. For those who want to go back to the old school way of doing things next year, I'll be more than happy to accommodate. But for this year, I just ask everyone to be patient. Pick your time out. I'll do everything I can. We use every form of technology possible. If it's a Zoom meeting, if it's just a phone call, whatever we have to do to make sure you have the info. I'm mailing items out by hard mail, so you can be looking at what I'm looking at. But yeah, I was just really surprised. A lot of folks were like, man, you're not coming out this year? And I'm like, well, look, I got a 2-week-old little girl at home. I don't want to bring anything home to her. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to bring anything to you guys because the last thing I need to know is that, Mr. or Mrs. Jones is not doing so well because I brought something to you. So I just, I'm trying to do my best to accommodate everybody. And like I said, be patient. The enrollment period hasn't even started yet. It doesn't start till October 15th, goes until December 7th. My calendar in October looks like, it just is crazy right now, but there are some times still available. But my November is really wide open. So don't be afraid to let this go to the first week of November. It's not the end of the world for most of you. I think you'll be okay and we can accommodate you. We're going to accommodate everybody. That's the bottom line. But, you don't have to go crazy. We'll get it. We'll take care of it. I'll compare plans. We'll make sure you're getting the best possible thing. Okay.
So Herb has a question. It sounds like he says, how soon will you get back to, I think he means me. So I'm guessing if he sends his prescription drug information in or he does an appointment, I guess he's wondering maybe what's the current turnaround time or what kind of what are we looking at?
Obviously if you're, Herb, I don't know if you've been on any of our calendars, but you can definitely jump in and grab appointments pretty quickly. Myself or Joe, or if you're a client of BGA already, let me just reiterate, if you have an agent and it's not myself or Joe, please let us know who it is, because I'll make sure you're in connection with them. Many of our agents also are using this Calendly function so that you can go in and drop an appointment right on their page. They all have that same Medicare prescription drug form, so you can be forwarded to that form as well, so that you're getting it to the right place. Or you could just call in our office and we'll make sure we direct you to the right place as well. So if you're an existing customer of somebody at BGA, I encourage you, let us know who you need to speak with and we'll take care of you right away. If you are one of my customers, drop that form in. I'm going to get back to you really, really fast. Now, we might not have a 20, 30-minute meeting for a week or so, but if you send that form in today, I'm probably going to respond really quickly saying received, looking it up, and let's set a time. So we'll work as quickly as we can. But I mean, like I said, I think Ryan pulled up on my calendar. You could see that there's a lot of times taken up, but there's still a lot of time available too. And I'll probably start opening up some weekend time as well as we go forward here.
Yeah, just keep in mind the enrollment period starts October 15th, but it runs into December. So it's not necessarily a rush. You don't have to get in the first week if you don't want to, or if it's too quick. We do have someone here. Vina says she wants an appointment tomorrow, late afternoon, if possible.
Vina, I can do the best I can. I know we talk every year about these things. Like I said, as I just said, we can take our time a little bit. I know we got to review some drug plans. That's okay. But if we can reconnect, I'll try to get somebody to set up a time for you in the next day or two. It won't be tomorrow afternoon, but it will be very soon. So I'll have my administrator reach out and get us a time set up. Okay.
That's a tight turnaround.
I know. I'm trying to do my best.
So just again, a recap, keep an eye out for if Greg sends you his Calendly link. It's like the word calendar, but just with an LY at the end with a, fancy brand name. So keep an eye out for that. And you can use that at any time you want, even throughout the year. If you need to just talk to Greg for 30 minutes or something, and you have a question about supplements. If there's anybody new on this call, if there's somebody that isn't a current client, you can also use that form. Just send Greg your information or pop a meeting on his calendar. It's open for everybody. So, we'll just throw that out there. If you need to use it, you can use it. If you email back and forth with Greg and his email signature, I think you can find the link to the form. So check your emails.
The other thing is, I know right now, look, it's Medicare right now. That's all we're talking about from now until December. When you click on that Calendly link, once this enrollment period ends, as Ryan said, you can use it throughout the year. And I usually put up different appointment types. So if it's just about Medicare, you can click, hey, you need to review Medicare. But if you're like, man, there's other insurances I'd like to talk about, there's, hey, I need an appointment just to discuss life insurance. I don't know. Maybe I'm paying too much. Maybe I don't have enough. Maybe I have too much. It's worth a review. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, and you can book it. Like I said, when you click on that link, which it's right in my email signature, and I can send it out to everybody again. Once Medicare time period is done at the end of, as we get to the beginning of December, I'll put the other boxes back up. So if you say, Greg, I need some information about what is hospital indemnity, do I need it? You can click off and we can talk about that. I mean, we talk about anything in the appointment, but it gives you a chance to really target, focus on what you want to talk about. So yeah, I mean, that's, again, as we keep rolling into this enrollment period, we're going to get more and more into some of the companies. And in fact, Ryan, if we have a couple minutes, I want to talk about one company in particular. Big news came out about them today. Actually, big news came out of two companies today, but one company that is really, really becoming prevalent in New Jersey. And I'm not, I don't work for them. I'm not an advocate for them. I do sell their product, and I've seen some positive results. Clover Healthcare is merging with another group. They're going to be going public on the market at some point soon. They're really growing quickly. I was a little I wasn't a huge fan of them in previous years, not a great network. I'm seeing them expand. I'm seeing some great benefits. So while I'm not sitting here saying everybody should jump to it, it's a pretty solid Medicare Advantage option, at least in New Jersey. I can't say that for every state, but I know in New Jersey they're coming with some really nice options. So as we go through this enrollment period, and all the folks who are putting those appointments in the calendar, I'm probably going to bring it up, give you a chance to get a little bit of a comparison. But for those of you who like the Medicare Advantage plans, I think they're a player. They've become a player in the market. So there's pretty big things on the horizon for them. And then the last thing I want to touch on, and this is big news that just came out, is that are the wonderful world of Walmart. Walmart is now going to offer what's called Walmart Insurance Services. So Walmart, obviously one of the biggest stores in the world, is now going to have I guess in their department in their store there, an insurance group that's going to basically help you pick insurance plans at Medicare. The other thing I'd say about that is they do what we do, but we've been doing it for years, and this is what we do for a living. We don't, I don't do stock shelves and then transfer over and jump into selling insurance. I do insurance for a living. That's what I do, and that's what we've made a career out of. Walmart's just kind of dipping their toes in the water because I guess people have been using their pharmacy for years, and they've been linked to Humana for a really long time, and now they're going to sell a bunch of different plans. I'm not trying to put them down, but there's some things that I leave to the experts, and I think that's where we come in this area. Let's figure out if they're good at what they do before they start trying to jump on board here.
Looks like we have a return visitor. Joe Bachmeyer is back on the scene.
Sorry about that, guys.
I don't know if you've been listening. That's totally fine. Greg had a little presentation anyway.
Yeah, obviously I have 4 part of it, and then got kicked off the internet, and then had a construction guy knock on my door, so everything just happened.
That's all right. Anything you wanted to say? We're kind of getting to the end here, but Greg was just recapping. We were talking about Calendly and the ability to book appointments. Joe also has a Calendly link. Look for it in the signature of his email, I believe. Joe, anything you wanted to say, as we're heading into Medicare enrollment literally next week?
Well, 2 things. One of my clients jumped on, Mr. Herb, and he asked, how soon will you get back to me? I have everything in a file in row order as people are getting back to me. So it's a very busy time, and I say this every year, just be patient. We never leave anybody behind. I will get to you eventually. We get hundreds and hundreds of these in a few days, and so I'm working on them diligently. So you just have to be patient because I try to handle everybody first come, first served basis as they come in. So this way no one gets left behind. The other thing is I wanted to bring something up. A lot of people, when I'm discussing the new changes of the drug plan for 2021, I get a lot of, well, that's not what my prices are right now. If I'm going over prices for their prescriptions. And really, you can't go by what you're paying right now, because even though they may be a couple of dollars more in 2021, the new prices I'm running by you, the overall outlook of your plan is less expensive because the copays change, the monthly premiums change, the deductibles change, and things like that. So, when you do say, hey, well, listen, that's not what I'm paying right now. Well, guess what? That's not what you're going to be paying in 2021. If you stay with that same plan, and I'm recommending something else. So I just want to bring that up because, it adds a little bit to confusion to people. And so we're pricing everything for the new year, and that's what you have to go by. So if I'm picking out the top plan, that's the one that's going to cost you the least amount of money out of pocket between copays and the monthly premium. So that's what we go by. Because the bottom line is how much money are you laying out for the entire year? Yes, the monthly premium on your new plan for 2021, it may be a little bit more expensive, but the overall picture is less expensive if I'm recommending that plan between the copays and the monthly premium. So I just wanted to add that in there because that's where a lot of confusion comes in.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add both of your Calendly links into the chat right now so that people can just grab them if they want. So
that works.
Greg's Calendly link. So everyone on Facebook and YouTube should see this one. And then Joe, I believe I have yours as well. Let me just pull that up. But while I'm doing that, if maybe you guys want to have any closing statements.
No, I pretty much went through the call, gave you guys some good pointers, some good tips. And, like I said, as we keep going into enrollment, next week, we're still not technically going to be in the enrollment period yet, but getting closer and closer. Just get the information over to us. We'll work on it. We'll make sure we get you what you need. If you're a new customer, somebody who's never been with us before, I think you're going to be happy getting this information back, knowing that you're in the best position possible.
Yep. And I'll say this: my mom keeps jumping on once a week to say hello, so I got to say hello back. I see her in the comment section there, so I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. So We do this year after year after year, so there's a lot of value in it that I find my customers find in it. So I know people say, well, listen, I keep the same plan for 8 years, but you could really be overspending, 2-3 years down the road after you get your drug plan for the first time. So I always say it's very important to review this once a year, no matter what, because like I said, these premiums change, the copays change. And the last thing you want to do is overpay for a prescription plan that you don't need to. We've had people paying $30 for a monthly premium and they take one generic drug. Well, I can probably get them a plan for $7 and maybe a zero copay. So that's a big difference right there. So, just remember to, listen, we review it every year. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us.
So there's one person we can't leave out who has to get in on the action is Pat Goodis. Hi, Patty.
There's my mom. Has to leave a comment. She's also a customer. She's not an easy customer to deal with, but she's still a customer.
So we have a lot of family in the gallery tonight, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
We also did have earlier on. We had a stowaway. I think he might have slipped out, but we did have John Gagnon.
Yeah,
who was a
we don't want to show his picture.
Another PGA agent was sneaking around, maybe looking for some advice from the guys. But
I think we'll have to bring him on as a guest appearance. We'll see how that goes.
So we have some people. But anyway, we've been running for a while now, and I added the Calendly links in the chat. So if you guys look at the chat box, just literally click the link, and it'll take you right to their calendar, and then you can pick your date. It'll send you a reminder text, and then the guys will call you on a date that you picked. If you have any questions, you can just ask them while you're on the call. It's as easy as that.
All right. Sounds good, everyone.
All right. So we'll sign off. We will be back next week. So if you guys think of any questions or you want to add more people, tell your friends, bring them on, family, bring them all on board. So.
Yeah, next week, Greg will be doing a presentation on final expense while diving out of an airplane at 38,000 feet. So that should be
a lot of fun.
Be a good one.
Well, it looks like you got shot. It looks like you got shot into space, Joe, because the lighting behind you floating in orbit back there.
I like natural light.
It looks like Halloween, like a good Halloween movie. The way he's kind of just dark all behind him.
Yeah, that happened really quick. But 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of the way.
Yeah,
that happened fast.
So, all right, everyone, we will see you next week.
Have a good night, folks.
Bye-bye.